Hey guys, it's Jeff from Press Your Luck, and Banjo, what do you want? Alright, I couldn't not let Banjo say hello because he was pawing at me when I started the video. So you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi everybody, it's me, Banjo, the Norwich Terrier.
Alright, perfect. How are you, sweetheart? Good? Good. Alright, now let Daddy do his intro, okay? Perfect. So today, I want to share a recipe with you that is super Jewish. In fact, it's so Jewish that I have to wear my Junicorn shirt to share it with you. Isn't this such a fun shirt? I love it so much. So there's this thing you might have heard called schmaltz, right? And it sounds like a Yiddish word almost. Actually, I think it is a Yiddish word, is it? Let me look it up. Oh, it is a Yiddish word. It means excessive sentimentality in art or music. But that's not really what this is. Oh, there's another definition. Drippiness, mawkishness, mushiness, sentimentality, sloppiness, soupiness, falsely emotional in a maudlin way. Okay, well, there's gotta be a different one than that. Oh, in Yiddish the word is used that way. However, the original meaning is rendered chicken fat, or melted fat. And that's what schmaltz is. It takes 2 ingredients to make schmaltz, which is literally the skins of some chicken and a sweet onion. That's it. Nothing else. That is it. And then when you're done, you're going to liquefy it into what you see here, schmaltz. Schmaltz. Now, how much schmaltz you're going to produce depends on how much chicken skin you're going to be using, or chicken fat. That's how much you're going to get. And this is actually a really good amount because you're not going to use a ton of schmaltz when you cook. Now, what would you use schmaltz for? It's essentially something that's very, very common in matzo balls and in something called kasha varnishkes, which are farfalle or bow tie pasta with buckwheat groats and onions and sometimes mushrooms, and they're delicious. They're in my new Pastabilities book. Check that out. But we typically use the schmaltz in place of vegetable oil or margarine or something like that because it just gives it this extra flavor and an edge to everything else that's going on in there. It is truly a delicious, wonderful, rich fat to add to these dishes that does make a bit of a difference. Now, you can sometimes buy schmaltz at a butcher, or specifically a kosher butcher, or even sometimes in the market in like the oil section, you'll see sometimes it's already sold jarred. The ShopRite is the big supermarket chain that I go to, and they actually have a duck schmaltz in there, which I found to be very interesting. You see this right here? Seasoned duck fat. Rendered cooking fat. That's exactly what schmaltz is, except this one is from a duck, and schmaltz seems to have more of a yellow tinge to it when you render it, which I think is lovely. So, like I said, 2 ingredients, 1 skillet, and then you're gonna have endless possibilities with the schmaltz. Schmaltz, I love the way, you gotta really, this is where my Long Island accent comes in really handy when you get the thickness. Schmaltz. You're gonna see how easy it is. Making schmaltz is easier than learning how to waltz. So let's go right to the pan and make some fantastic schmaltz in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Enough of that, I'm a terrible dancer. Alright, I'm gonna stop yapping, I'm gonna go and we're gonna make some schmaltz. Let's do it. So there's only 2 ingredients in this recipe, and the first thing, the obvious one, is going to be some chicken skin or fat. Any part of that chicken that looks like, you know, this, okay? Now, how I obtain this can be done in a multitude of ways. I could either have saved it from peeling it off of some thighs, or some even breasts, or legs, or wings, or even a whole chicken when I was doing other things with the chicken, and I didn't want the skin involved. Or I could even go to a butcher, and I could buy some chicken skin from them. Or I can just, you know, make some chicken right now, and then just save the skins and do this separately. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways you could obtain this. Either way, when you save your skin, you could almost think of it like it's like a collection. You can put it in a Ziploc bag and then freeze it, and it'll be perfect for when you want to use it. In this case, this is from about 4 pounds worth of chicken thighs that were bone-in. You're usually only going to find the skin on bone-in thighs. When they're boneless, they're usually skinless and boneless at the same time. Anyway, I'm talking a lot about this, but you get the point. You want to use between 2 to 4 cups worth. And when I say that, I mean you literally put it in a measuring cup, and you don't have to pack it in or anything like that. Between 2 to 4 cups is perfect for this, but you can really use as much or as little as you want. We're going to now add our chicken skin and fat to a skillet or frying pan and set it over low heat. Now you're gonna notice I didn't add any oil, any butter, none of those things because we don't need them here. It's all about the chicken fat here. When once heated, it's going to release its own juices and fats, creating its own amazingness in there. So we need nothing else to aid it along. We want it to be pure chicken fat. And by the way, you can totally do this with any type of fowl. If you want to use turkey skin, great. Duck skin, fabulous. Whatever you want. Cornish hens, that works too. And we're gonna just stir this around. We're gonna let it sweat itself out. So we're gonna mostly let it just rest here like this, and then we're gonna come back every so often and stir it around, give it a little saute. We're gonna do this between 10 and 20 minutes, closer to 20 minutes. And by the way, if the skin was frozen, just let it thaw out before we add it to the pan to heat up and render. Speed that along, all you have to do is run that under some cold water in the sink. It'll be thawed in no time. And we're gonna leave this on a medium-low to a low heat. We don't want it to be anything higher than that because if we do, it can burn. And we don't really want it to burn. We want it to give it a nice, like, render situation where the skin will actually become crispy. And you'll see afterwards, you're gonna be able to eat that skin like a snack. And about 10 minutes have gone by on about a medium-low to a low, depending on your stove, as every stovetop's gonna vary, whether it's induction like this one is, or electric or gas. And then I'm just gonna kind of just, you know, saute and stir, and you see that my chicken fat and skin is beginning to render and release this delicious fat liquid, or liquid fat, called schmaltz. We wanna make it so the skins are a bit golden brown, just beginning to crisp. And you can give the skin a little flip if you want. Not a bad idea to do that. Alright, so about 20 minutes have passed, and you'll see that our chicken skin has really rendered out some really nice fat, or schmaltz here. And the next thing I want to do now is I want to add in a sweet or Vidalia onion, a medium-sized one. I just cut it into quarters and then, you know, wedges, just like this. Add that to the pot. Increase the heat to a medium-high, and then we're going to saute everything together, the onions and the chicken skins and the schmaltz, for about another 15 minutes until these onions begin to soften up and brown a bit, and when our skin becomes nice and crispy. The onion is going to not only add a really, really nice flavor tone to the schmaltz, but it's also going to release additional juices into the schmaltz, and they're going to combine together really nicely. And I am telling you, as soon as you add the onions to the pan with the chicken skin, with the fat rendering out, it smells like a classic Bubby's Jewish kitchen in here. It smells amazing. Just keep going. We want to make sure those onions become nice and browned and softened, and our skin to get nice and crispy. The more we let our chicken skin and onions cook in the pan, the more schmaltz we'll get and the more rich and flavorful it'll be. Okay, and after about another 15 minutes of sauteing with our onions, when we're looking like this, we are perfect. We are nice and crispy and brown with those skins. Our onions are looking brown. This is exactly what we want. So all in all, we're looking at about a 35-minute saute time, but believe me, it is well worth the wait. And the proof in that is how amazing your kitchen's gonna smell right now. All right, let's kill the heat. Now I'm gonna take some tongs, and I'm going to remove my chicken skins and onions to a bowl, leaving the rendered fat, or schmaltz, in the pan and letting it cool for about 20 minutes. Really try to shake off all the onions and the skin so that schmaltz stays in the pan. And after about 20 or so minutes of our oil cooling, we want to now take a mason jar of any size that you feel like is appropriate. You can get these really anywhere in the market. And then we're going to just take our pan, and you could also put a sieve, by the way, over this, like a piece of cheesecloth or something, if you feel like there's a lot of particles that are inside of your pan after making the chicken fat. But if you feel like there aren't many, like there's really not a whole lot going on here, you don't need to. I'm going to now just pour this carefully into my little mason jar here. Really get it on the sides. Since you spent all that time, get as much of that schmaltz out of the pan as possible. You've earned it. And here is my schmaltz in my little mason jar. How perfect. Now I can just use this immediately for something, whether it's kasha varnishkes or matzo balls, or I can use it for later. This will keep up to about a week in the fridge when it solidifies, or about 6 months in the freezer. It's up to you. And then as schmaltz cools down, it's gonna go from a liquid-like consistency to one that solidifies into a kind of a yellowish color, especially when it's in the fridge. But once you heat it up, it's gonna just liquefy again. Oh, and I almost forgot. As for the chicken skins and the onion, well, if you want to have a little snack, feel free to just take some salt, salt up those crispy chicken skins and onions, and you have yourself now a nice snack. Crispy and delicious. I'll do that in the taste test so you can hear it. And here it is, my schmaltz in my little mason jar, so cute. I probably have, based on that, I used about 2 cups-ish worth of chicken skin, and I probably got myself, I want to say about 1/4 cup worth. It's a good amount, frankly, and if you want to use more skin, you'll get more schmaltz. The onion level can stay the same, but here, I said I would give it a little try, and I'm going to taste some of the schmaltz on here. And if you want a little bit of I just hiccuped. If you want a little bit of a cheap snack with the fried skin, it's basically almost like a pork rind but chicken. Let's try it out. That is really good, especially seasoned with the salt. And so guys, there you have it, schmaltz, which you can add to your kitchen waltz. All right, sounds good? Capiche? Good? Mixing everything in there. I always say about Jews and Italians, same behavior, different savior. Guys, in case you didn't know, I've written 4 cookbooks for the Instant Pot. This is not an Instant Pot recipe, although you can technically make it in there if you just do it on the saute function. And I actually show you in this book, the green book, and the cockle van recipe, how to make schmaltz as a written recipe. There is an extra. And in my upcoming book, Possibilities, you're gonna have schmaltz in there as well, and how to make that specifically for my kasha varnishkes recipe, which is the ultimate Jewish pasta, alongside kugel, which is also a noodle pudding, which will also be in the book. I gotta represent my Jewish roots here. Junicorn. Let me bring some of that into your kitchen. Thank you so much again for watching. If you want to follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/pressurelawcooking. Make sure you check that out. I always give you really, really good tips and ideas for the dinner in the kitchen. Fun stuff there. It's all about fun, fluffy stuff. It's keeping it light, but also real in this crazy world we live in. And at Pressure Luck Cooking on all the other socials, which is, I guess, YouTube, subscribe there. Instagram, all that stuff. Thank you so much again for watching, my friends. And the next time you want to make yourself the most ultimate, fantastic fat to add to any dish, really, not even just matzo balls or kasha varnishkes, and you want to really make sure it's schmaltz, well, all it takes is some chicken skin and onions, and you're gonna have yourself no faults making this schmaltz. Enjoy.